Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a brand new episode of the Creatives in Depth podcast, and for this episode we also have a returning guest. Today I am joined by actor Chris Moore. Hey Chris, thanks so much for being here.
Hey Kate, how you been?
Good, how have you been?
Busy, very busy.
I get it. So, for you as an actor, here's the first question I wanted to get into. So, do you remember the first moment, maybe from your childhood or maybe from young adulthood, that sparked your interest and passion to become one?
Well, to be the whole passion for being an actor, it was, I mean, it's always been there. For me, my family they're all entertainers. We were all musicians. I started out as a musician. So, I've always liked entertaining and having fun. The idea to become an actor wasn't until like probably into my teens where I thought maybe that would be the best place to do it. The only problem was the location. I was not in a location to start. However, that is not the same anymore. You can start acting anywhere. So it pretty much started in my teenage years when I first actually started really thinking about acting.
Well, in growing up, were there any other careers that you were interested in exploring? Also, what would you say is it that really motivates you as an actor and to just be creative?
Well, I love the idea of being a character in someone's story and making that come to life. I love being a storyteller on the acting side of things. I think that's really cool. I think it's really awesome when you can play it out, when you have other people that you can work with, and you're all doing the exact same goal and trying to make this story come to life and as best as possible, hopefully. But the other careers, it was up in the air. Like I said, I kind of wanted to do some musician work. I'm a bass player, but I play lots of different instruments. I played in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people. But it wasn't really until I got into the acting world that I realized the confidence I have on stage playing music compared to the confidence I have acting in front of a camera, they're completely different experiences, and it was really nice transitioning into the acting world. So for the careers, it was going to be a musician. Otherwise, it turned out that I really wanted to be an actor.
Well, and when it comes to just the creative process of acting, what is it about it that you think is most rewarding for you specifically? And also, do you enjoy any behind the scenes aspects when it comes to filmmaking?
Oh yeah, yeah. So the behind the scenes is great because when I very first started out in acting, I was very self-taught. I noticed that there's not a whole lot of it's all self-propelled. So when it came to that, I did a lot of research, I did a lot of things, I did a lot of background work. So I was very observant of what was going on in the background, what was going on while scenes were being started, watching the actual professional actors take multiple takes, and each time they did it a little different, giving the director some options to work with when it came to editing and putting everything together. So the behind the scenes of filmmaking, I really enjoyed a lot, and I think if anything, just being in the process of helping out behind the scenes helps me as well. But for me, the most exciting and rewarding thing about the acting is, well, for one, being considered for the part, what it is I'm actually, performing. As an actor, you do get to kind of pick and choose what kind of character you want to play or what kind of film you want to do. And when you get that part, it's rewarding because then it's like, okay, now I can really let myself, shine or show and what I'm capable of. And the rewarding part is seeing it all come together and hopefully getting a really good response from it.
Yeah, I totally get it. But, looking back, when it comes to the first film related project that you ever acted in, what was it and what was your experience like acting on screen for the first time? Also, are you proud of your performance today when you look back at it?
I am. So when I look back at it, so my very first performance was a student film. It was a student that was doing a film for Emerson College up in Boston. It's out there right now on YouTube, so if that's ever out there, you can go and see it. But my experience of it was good. Like when I got in front of the camera and when I was, doing my lines, I felt very calm, very like it was normal, regardless of there being a giant lens in my face. It was a good experience. And working with the other actors as well, the camaraderie that we create is a really good thing to have. And I don't know, it was like when I look back on it now and to think that if I'm proud of it, I use it more as a tool to see where I've come from, because of course, my first film, I'm going to be nervous, I'm going to have my nervous ticks, and I notice it. So if anything, it's a place to look back from, and I'm proud of it. It got me to where I'm at. It's not bad.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. But when it comes to just other actors in general, have there ever been any big time actors who inspire you most? If so, who are they and how has their work had such an influence on your work as an actor?
Well, so the person that when I grew up, the person that I really wanted to look up to or like the most was uh Jim Carrey. I loved how wild he was. He was spontaneous, sometimes a little over the top, but the films that he did were very on point for his character. And when I was younger, I was a goofball. I had a lot of fun trying to imitate him and stuff like that. But then the more I grew up and the more I kind of started diving into the acting world, it was a lot of training myself to not overact, but not underact, to kind of find that right niche in the middle to give the best performance. But I would say, yeah, Jim Carrey would be the one that I definitely looked up to.
Oh yeah, he's a phenomenal actor. Also, when it just comes to behind the scenes and just filmmaking in general, in my opinion, one of the best and most rewarding aspects of filmmaking has always been the collaborative process. And for you as an actor, has that ever been one of your favorite aspects of it? And, is there anyone who you've collaborated with most frequently when it comes to actors or even directors?
Well, there's been a director that I've worked with several times. That I actually did a film with him last year. It's yet to come out, but when the process started and he brought me the position or the part and the script and whatnot, we went over it and we definitely created this character in the film. But one of the best things about, I think, for me, filming or being in the filming industry is the other actors you get to work with, because for one, you're all there to do the same thing, but outside of actually acting on the screen for that moment, the behind the scenes, the fun we get to have, the friendships you get to make, the connections you get after that, it for me, that's the better experience too. Because I would watch TV shows and then I would look back and watch the behind the scenes of them, and they're cutting up and having a blast, and that's the friendship, and then they go on scene and start playing their parts. That was something I always was really oh, I can't wait to have that. I can't wait to do that on a set. And it's happened. I've made some really nice, really awesome friends, really good memories, and definitely the collaboration with the directors and the other actors, it's all been a really good experience.
Well, and what are some of your fondest memories from just acting and learning how to be an actor? And, this can relate to any projects that you've worked on over the years, or maybe any fellow actors or teachers that you've worked with or learned from.
Yeah, so definitely when I went to a school or classes for acting, I went to commercial acting classes, just so that I can, break into the mold of the acting world. Commercial acting is an easier step into the acting world because you don't have to portray so many emotions when you're doing a commercial. However, the teacher was really inspiring to me because he not only taught us the commercial side, but he also opened a lot of doors for how to get in, where to look, how to act, how to sound professional. And even to this day, if I ever get a project or something, he's always right there in the comments, giving me a thumbs up and, cheering me on. So when it came to specifics, a scene that I really enjoyed the most would probably be any the action scene. So I did a zombie film one time and I had to jump out of a window 5 times just to get it right. And I'll never forget it. It was a blast the whole time. But the fifth time I jumped out, I ended up breaking the window to this person's house. And I was very apologetic. I didn't mean to do it, but once you start diving out of a window so many times, it gets kind of your body gets kind of sore. So, but in the end, everybody was good, everything was good. But that was probably one of my fondest memories is definitely that action scene.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just in all the years that you've been an actor, have there ever been any really big struggles that you've had to overcome and get through in order to get to where you are? If so, what are they and how did you get through them?
The only struggle that I've been having has been with myself. There hasn't been any struggle with like finding work or talking to other people or with my agent or anything like that. It's my own motivation, and that seems to be the biggest problem with a lot of actors or new actors when they're trying to get into into the acting world is their own personal motivation. And for me, that seems to be the hardest part. I know that the best resolution I have for that is, well, I mean, if it was just as easy to say, just not to stop. You know, once you start, you can't stop. You might look at it and be like, so one of the things that I've noticed is like being an actor, rejection is going to be one of the biggest things you need to get used to. You could apply for 100 parts, 100, scenes, and you might not get a single one of them. However, you might get one, and then all those hundreds don't even matter anymore. You know, that one part you get, it means the most. So that's the biggest thing is you have to get used to the rejection. You have to get used to, how fast you audition, how quickly you submit it, how well you do. Like you could give the best performance, but you know, casting directors, they're only going to look, probably at the first 50 to 75 auditions requested, If 500 people, submitted, if you're the 76th person, they probably missed you and you probably gave the best performance. So you got to be quick, you got to be on top of it. You want to be the first one out there, but you also want to give your best performance. And that's, well, for one, that's going to definitely increase your odds. It is a game of luck. You know, if you get in there, you're lucky to at least be seen. But yeah, I would have to say the biggest thing is self-motivation.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I'm also curious for you as an actor and someone who is creative, does creativity ever help you when you're in a bad place? Specifically, has there ever been a particular time in your life where acting really helped you?
Oh yeah, like acting has definitely helped me. Like there are like it's kind of hard to like give a specific scenario of any situation, but when I know that when I'm acting, when I'm on set, when I'm applying, when I look at all these different positions and stuff like that, I for one, I just feel better. When I'm on set, you know, I've been on set one time, I did a film for 4 days straight, and then we came to the last day, and I'm thinking to myself, well, can we add a little bit more on? Can we make another fifth day, sixth day? Because I'm really like this is really where I want to be. And it's been acting has really motivated me in my life personally because now I can motivate myself at home, motivate myself with my kids. My daughter, she's an actress and a model, so seeing her do her thing is rewarding in itself. So the acting world and my daughter the modeling world, it's been a confidence boost and a motivation boost. So it's definitely helped me out in my own personal life.
Yeah, I understand. But also looking back on everything that you have been involved with, are there any projects that you're most proud of in particular? Also, maybe are there any projects that you're not proud of or anything you might regret not doing as an actor?
Well, looking like my most proudest one would probably be the film that hasn't been released yet. It's still in post production. He has a lot of stuff to work on. It's like it's not a full featured film, but it's like a good 20-30 minute long film, and it's got a lot to it. So I understand that it's taken quite a while, but I feel like that particular film, I was able to really, through my experiences, give my best performance at the time. So, and I'm really excited to see it when it does come out. That's definitely what I'm looking forward to. A position, I've done a role one time in a film that I was not proud of. I think it was just because it was something that was offered to me, and I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. It's a film that I cannot have my daughter see. It's a film that I don't want anybody else to see, and that's not the kind of actor I want to be. I want to be like, if anybody, people look at me and be like, okay, that's kind of what I want to set my goals to as like the same kind of like follow in his footsteps, listen to what he says because he's, somewhat experienced. There is a role that I'm not proud of, and I hope it just disappears, but it probably won't.
Yeah, I understand. This is one thing I don't think I've ever asked you, and I'm just curious about it. So, if you had the opportunity, what would be your dream role, and what kind of movie or show would you want it to be in?
So I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Oh my gosh, if I could get into a Star Trek world, that would be it for me. I would live there. And it wouldn't even have to be like the captain of a starship. I would love to play, like if they ever did a remake of Next Generation, I would love to play number one, or what's his name? William Riker. I would love to play Riker in that film. That would be my home right there. That would definitely do it.
Well, and also, just to close off this interview, so looking back on everything that you have been through, would you say that being an actor is not just what you want to do with your life, but do you think it is what you're meant to do?
Well, for me personally, I think it was what I was meant to do. I've had before I even started, I've had people come up and say, "Hey, you'd be a great actor. Hey, you should try acting. You should do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I probably should." And I think I held myself back for the longest time. I think the biggest reason, well, for one, was location. I thought location was the problem, and it's really not. It's just finding the motivation to do it. Anybody can say, "Hey, you'd be great at something," but until you do it, you don't know. And then once I started, and once I got into the roles, and once I got in front of the camera, I knew that this is where I was meant to be. I felt comfortable, and I felt proud about my work, when I was doing it. So I believe wherever I go from here, acting is definitely the place I'm meant to be.
Yeah, I agree. And, just to close this off, is there any advice that you would give to other actors out there just based on your own experience?
Yeah, so the biggest advice I would say is, have the motivation. Go and get classes or find a coach and talk to somebody and learn how to do it. A lot of it's going to be self-motivation. There's not going to be somebody next to you being like, you got to do this, you got to do that. You have to set your own plan up for this. Location is not a problem. Location, like if you live anywhere, there are places in the US that are just full of people with great creative minds. You're going to start off doing probably short films or student films. A lot of the time, those aren't going to be paid, but those are going to be really good experiences and reels for your resume. So you have the experience. You want to just go out there and do it. Even if you have to drive an hour or 2 hours, if you're dedicated and this is what you want to do, you have to go out and do it. You have to make it your own. And then from there, it's just hit the pavement, go, 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 and keep yourself motivated.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, I think that that's the end of this interview. Chris, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you later.